And like you said, Mark, they were so comfortable, and like Charlton, I thought had pretty much ran out of ideas. But one long ball into the box.
As there it is, straight from the kick-off, the final whistle. The ref added 5 minutes on, but Charlton managed to find redemption in the 7th minute of added time. A calm finish by Gordon, drilling it into the roof of the net, and the Wrexham fans, who were unbelievable, kept going for the whole match. Are denied a memorable away win by Tom O'Connor's handball in the box after Seb Brevin chopped Tyrese Campbell to concede a free kick which led to the penalty. Wrexham took the lead twice. That's a real frustration, of course, for us. First one, heaven knows who scored it. Connor Coventry has been given it. A free kick, a wicked free kick from O'Connor. Seems to take a nick off the defender, hit the keeper and went in. They equalised. Charlton came back well from that, but Wrexham regained control and regained the lead in the second half, kicking towards those fans. Andy Cannon, a minute after coming on, slotting the ball through the keeper's legs, and despite the disappointment of that goal, the Wrexham fans are still making a terrific noise, thanking their players for their efforts. That was it is 2 drop points because we looked to have it under control at the end, but again, a better away performance that we were seeing at the start of the season.
Yeah, a really frustrating one. I think it's one of those where obviously Charlton come away from it feeling like they've got all three, and Wrexham come away feeling like they've got nothing. And it's because it's exactly like you say, Mark. I think, you look at those last 20 minutes of the game, last 10, last 5, Charlton didn't cause us any issues, and I think it's, just off that set piece, you can look at Revan and maybe ask the question, does he have to make that foul? We've got men back. It's one of those, you sort of take one for the team, you think late on, you sort of back yourself in those situations from that far out, from a set piece, and obviously it's just unlucky. I think it was Max's hand in the end, it might have hit, or Tom O'Connor's, one of the ones with blue boots, I'm sure, but a really frustrating one. But they can be very happy with that performance away from home. You look at that last 3 games now, 5 points. You look back at that, you would have said that at the start of before taking on those 3 games and been very happy with it. Obviously coming away from it now with that context, it's a bit of a different story, but again, they really put a really good account out for themselves, and on to the next one now, FA Cup next weekend, but frustrating, and I know a lot of them away fans will be very frustrated going back on the buses, back in the cars on a long trip back home to Wrexham, but yet again they were exceptional, the away fans, singing all the way through, and that's football.
Well, Charlton had this feeling on Tuesday night where they got let in a late equaliser, and then they've flipped it on its head and managed to get back in the game. I thought Wrexham were really good value in the second half. I thought they were much the better team. I think the change of formation by Charlton really helped Wrexham take a foothold in the game, and they got the goal, went ahead and looked really comfortable. And unfortunately it's one long ball into the box. We said if you put more and more balls into the box, one's going to fall. And I think you were right, Mia. I think it was Max who's just had his hands down by his side, and it's just jumped up and he's just pushed it with his arm, and then a really good penalty to boot. So maybe Wrexham just shaded it, maybe a draw was fair, maybe Wrexham could have just nipped it, but again it's 5 points out of 9 in this really tough week, and then you look ahead to another really 2 tough games in Mansfield and Stockport.
Bravura performance by Palmer up front, I thought, as well. He really gave the centre-backs no moment to rest. I really enjoyed him.
Yeah, absolutely. You could argue maybe on that final set piece, was it him we missed to not win that initial header from a defensive point of view, but yeah, I thought he was really impressive today again, and him and Mullin looking week in week stronger again, and back to their sort of old selves that we associate them so much with, and he'll be delighted with that performance, and obviously from an individual point of view, but yeah, I think the team obviously is a really difficult one to take. It is in any game when you concede that late on and lose out on a possible 3 points, but a lot of positives to take from it. I thought Andy Cannon's obviously come on and done really well, but yeah, just overall just really frustrating.
I think Dan Scarr was class, centre back. I think Max did well for his first game back after an injury, but certainly Dan Scarr, he marshalled the troops, he defended when he needed to, he heads a lot of things out.
On a yellow as well.
On a yellow as well, yes. So I think they'll be disappointed not to take all 3 points because you're so close. But had you given them a draw before the game, maybe they would have took it for the 2 away games and a home game against a really tough team in Huddersfield. You take your 5 points and you go home and you look forward to your home game then next week.
Yeah, exactly. Cleworth as well. When he first came on, having come back from a nasty injury, immediately he was outpaced by Tyrese Campbell, and you thought, oh, okay, how's this going to work? But after that didn't happen, did it? But Campbell's pace was a threat throughout. I mean, that free kick, I can think at the time that Seb Revan just come on, fresh, not backing himself to be able to catch Tyrese Campbell, who's been running for 90 plus 15 minutes.
Yeah, I thought he was going to maybe not catch him, but at least get back to help and delay with Cleworth already there. But he chose to bring him down. Normally you would expect to then clear the ball from the resulting free kick, but unfortunately they get first contact on it and then it's anybody's ball and it jumps up and hits Max on the arm. So yeah, really bright. I like Cannon coming on. I thought he injected a thing. It's very similar. It's like the midfielder that is starting grafts and grafts and grafts for this team, and then when you come on as a sub for the last 20, it like really raises the bar and you think, oh, they've come on and done well. But Rathbone really did work hard. A lot better second half, on the ball a lot more in the right areas. Lee in the right areas of the pitch, had a couple of shots as well. So I think we're all good, aren't we? Do you know what I mean? It's a good 5 points in a really tough week against 2 of the teams that have come down out of the Championship, and you take it and you go back and you look forward to hopefully getting the new boys fitter and getting them back in some sort of shape so that they can make effect in this first team moving forward.
Yeah, it's frustrating to concede so late, obviously, but it's an indication of the way the team's going that we got into that position in the first place, and we did have chances maybe to kill it off with a third on the break. So we've got to take that point, get on with our lives. Yeah,
definitely, and it is a real difficult place to come. I think we've seen that just look at Charlton's form at home. It sort of speaks for itself. I think that obviously that Birmingham result stands out in particular, but there are a lot of teams have come here and really struggled to get points. So maybe it's one you look back on and you're just going to have to take that point. You can't change it now, obviously, but yeah, obviously the manner in which it finished is really frustrating and a difficult one to sort of take. But now it's about bouncing back, making sure we keep those performances away from home and the results will follow.
I think Phil Parkinson will be disappointed that it's 2 really hopeful balls into our box, isn't it, that they've scored from. A really good header in for the first, and then obviously the penalty in the second. They've not carved us open at really any point. They've not played through us. They've not dominated the ball like other teams have dominated us when we've come away from home. So I think there's a lot of things in that performance that he'll be really pleased with. But first contact on balls into box is key, and we lost 2 and ended up getting punished by them.
A lot of people on Ask Wrexham were suggesting that Scar was pushed for that first goal, but looking at it, he didn't complain at all, put it that way. He was turning to look at a Concours I don't think could come. But yeah, well, yeah, disappointing the manner of the goals that we've conceded. But having said that, yeah, it's when you consider the start of the season when maybe we were looking to consolidate, we're in a good place. Right. Well, I'm off to get my half and half scarf now. But it was a pleasure as always commentating with you guys, and thanks everyone at home sending in messages. Wrexham go again a week on Sunday against Harrogate, but remember the women's game, big game tomorrow against Cardiff Met. Wrexham really need 3 points from that, and that's a winnable game. Need to make the most of it. So with the final score of Charlton Athletic 2, Wrexham 2, we've been Mark Griffiths, Mia Roberts and Andy Morrell from Wrexham AFC.